Anne Widdecombe. Good evening, Anne.
Good evening to you.
This is another story that makes people sit up and notice, I think. There is this hotel in Hythe, apparently 43 rooms, every single one of those rooms occupied by a migrant who came across the channel in a dinghy, claiming asylum and also claiming to be under 18. Of course, they never have any documents because the people smugglers tell them to ditch their documents. And so there they are, all residing in a hotel at our expense, being treated as children when I bet you that they are not children. What is your feeling about this situation?
Well, I'm surprised it's taken people so long to wake up to this. This has been going on for years, and I do mean for years. I can remember when I was a Kent MP, the then chairman of Kent County Council, who had been down to Dover and had observed people coming in there, all of whom had come in unlawfully, and they all claimed to be children. They all claimed to be under 18, to be minors. Now, the advantage of that is, first of all, you don't get sent back, because before you can send a child back, you've got to make sure that it's got somewhere to actually go and somebody to take responsibility. And secondly, of course, as you've identified, you also get a rather different raft of rights over here. Now, fair enough, if some people are obviously on the borderline and you're not quite certain, but we get people who are quite visibly middle-aged claiming to be under 18. We have had, I'm told, I never saw one, but I'm told by several immigration officers, we have had them quite visibly pensioners claiming to be children and getting away with it, getting clean away with it, because nobody has got a grip on this.
Yes, there was an article in one of the Sunday papers calling Priti Patel, who, by the way, is the Home Secretary. I always think that she has her heart in the right place. She's got a very tough job as Home Secretary. She makes a lot of announcements, but nothing ever seems to happen. And they called her the Minister for Hot Air. Is this another example where she's talking a tough game, but in reality, these migrants are getting very, very soft treatment?
I would be amazed if anything concrete followed this particular pronouncement, because as you rightly observe, it never does. You may remember the very famous epitaph on King Charles II, when one of his acolytes actually said, "Here lies our sovereign lord the king, whose word no man relied on. He never said a foolish thing, never did a wise one." That's pretty.
So do you think is she a failing Home Secretary then?
Oh, I think she has been for a very long time. I have yet to hear her say something with which I disagree. This is why, I've just used that comparison. Everything she says is sensible, and if it were followed through to a conclusion, she would be a terrific Home Secretary. But there is no record there of turning words into deeds, into action. And this problem, as I say, it's not new. It's really not new. It's been going on for a long time. So it's not just Priti. It's a whole succession of Home Secretaries who just haven't got to grips with it.
What about this business of Priti Patel giving the French yet more money? She gave them 28 million quid not so long ago to step up their supervision of their border over on the French coastline, and has now given them another 54 million pounds. I mean, she might as well take a stack of 54 million quid and set fire to it, mightn't she?
Well, I agree, because I wouldn't mind. I would mind in principle paying France the money just to do what they're supposed to do anyway. I would have less problems in practice paying them if I thought they were actually going to do something for the money that they've been paid. Then I might just be able to swallow it with difficulty, but I might just be able to swallow it. As it is, I know, everybody knows, and I reckon Priti knows, that they will take the money. Of course they will, and they'll say merci, and they'll do absolute Rian.
Rian, yeah, exactly right. And of course, last couple of weeks we've had some very good weather, and so the numbers of migrants coming across the channel has increased no end, and the figures are getting worse and worse. More migrants have crossed the channel by this time of year, this year, than crossed the channel all of last year. This number continues to rise and rise and rise, and we don't seem to be able to put a stop to it in any way, do we?
Well, first of all, you've got to ask yourself, why do they come here? They pass through perfectly safe countries like France, which is a signatory to all the international agreements that we are. It's under the rule of law. They could apply for asylum there. They don't. Now, why is that, you have to ask? And the answer is that in this country is just about the easiest in the Western world in which to disappear. We don't have national identity cards. We do have a flourishing black economy. We do not practice routine detention. And therefore, anybody coming here thinks actually with due cause that once you get into Britain, you're very unlikely to be removed. The odds are against ever being removed. Now, we need to reverse that message. And we need to send out a message that says, if you come to Britain with a false claim, you will be detained securely, you will be dealt with quickly, and you will be sent back. And nobody's going to pay £10,000 to a human trafficking agent for that.
Yeah, and if you've got a beard, we do not accept you're 8 years old, which is another factor. But the elephant in the room here, Anne, we're talking about this particularly egregious example, the hotel with 43 rooms full of alleged children claiming asylum. The thing about those people and people at any detention centre, well, I call them detention centres, usually hotels, is once we put them in there, they can just walk out, can't they?
Well, that's why I say it should be routine practice. And I said this when I was Shadow Home Secretary, because it was a policy I came to when I was actually in the Home Office itself, and was working out what we could do about immigration. And that is why I always say that every new asylum seeker should be detained in secure reception centres, not prisons, secure reception centres. We know where they are. We can deal with them quickly. The genuine ones we can take out much more quickly than we do and welcome them to Britain. And the others, about 80%, to whom we are going to say, no, we know where they are and we can send them back that much more easily.
I've got an idea. Anne Widdecombe for Home Secretary. Seriously, very wise words. Always a pleasure to speak, Anne. Thank you very much for your time. Anne Widdecombe, former Tory MP, Cabinet Minister and Brexit Party MEP, of course.